Well, hello and welcome to the most unusual tarot reading on the internet or maybe any place else. That's the Tao Manifesting Tarot, which by title tells you we use tarot to help you to manifest, to help you create the pictures inside your own mind. Not externally from some sort of a smartphone or desktop or laptop or even AI. Those things actually take away power. They depower, they dehumanize you. And they do it on such a subconscious level, very few people catch on. And so because of that, we have millions upon millions, maybe worldwide, billions of people who are absolutely hooked up to technology. They are addicted to technology. They have no skills. They have no real independence. They have no real thoughts. They're hooked up to this mechanization, this technology that's been fed to us over decades, maybe even longer. So what we're here to do is to grab the necessary energy to help you manifest your own thoughts, your ideas. It's the kryptonite. It's the kryptonite against the world out there. And all you got to do is stick your head out, take a quick look around you, and you see, hey, yeah, having kryptonite, my own mind, my own independence, my own integrity is a pretty good thing. But as I mentioned, we don't simply do that. The idea is to focus you on manifesting. We want you to reach deep inside of you, and we do that with a singular tarot reading. 3 cards, because there's a magic in 3. Nikola Tesla said that. And so we only use 3 cards, and we kind of distill that information down to one singular energy or thought. And today, the thought is buy the book. And that's the very reason why this edition of the Tao Manifesting Tarot is called the Final Chapter, because we're kind of in the final chapter. I know that's a little frightening and scary to many people, but it is what it is. And in fact, that's kind of the reason why I do what I do, as opposed to just simply doing tarot and kind of leaving you in the lurch. You figure out what the hell to do with the energy, even if the energy applies, doesn't apply, doesn't make any difference. What we do here is give you a complete reading. That means tarot, which is the science of potential, and I've been doing it for 20 years. Also, the science of cycles with numerology and astrology. Because those two ways of thinking are literally the science of cycles, within cycles, within cycles, within cycles. You probably heard sometime in your life, history repeats itself. That's the reason. But we really don't know history. We're really not taught history. If we were taught honest, real history, we would be able to connect these cycles up together and learn. But that's not what the deep state wants. In fact, early 1900s, we had people like Rockefeller decide they were going to change our educational system, make us workers, not thinkers. He said that himself. I want a nation of workers, not thinkers. And so everything in school was to line you up to go to work for them, to make them powerful and rich. That was the deal. Well, that's falling apart right now because we have the robotic revolution. Well, there is a connection astrologically, and we talk about these connections because I want you to thoroughly understand. It's not just words. I don't have to use tarot terminology. I don't have to sound like an astrologer. I've done astrology and numerology for over 50 years. And one of the problems with those two things especially is the fact there's so much information, it's chop suey. And you leave the person who you're doing the reading for lost because there's just too much. this planet's moving here, this planet's moving there. We got the midheaven, we got the ascendant, we got all different kinds of aspects, and we got all eclipses and all kinds of things. And you guys are supposed to figure this stuff out. Then you go to Indian astrology, where they had these silly names for these certain kinds of, and it's like explosion. Makes sense. That's what I'm here to do. So the tarot is the potential. It is the center of the reading. But the astrology, numerology, the power of cycles, I use that to bring in concepts, ideas, to help you understand what we're going through a little better, so that you can apply that energy. You can feel that energy, and you go, I got it. I think we can work this thing out. For example, very quickly, and I say this a lot, but it's because it resonates with a lot of people. Back in 1776, July 4, we signed the Declaration of Independence here in the United States of America. It takes 250 years for the planet Pluto to go all the way around the solar system. So right now, next summer is our 250th birthday, if you will. And Pluto's back to essentially, it's off a little degree, but essentially where it was back at the Declaration of Independence. And the other planet that comes up with it is Uranus. Uranus has been through about 3 or 4 times around, but it's finally matching up with Pluto in exactly the same spot as is July 4th, 1776. See what's happening in the country? Pluto's evolution, Uranus's revolution. What the hell we have going on across the world? Get ready. It's going to get even a little more interesting than that. Let's go to the astrology part. The astrologic is what I call it. We have planets in a pretty good position right now, at least if you were to look at them as a beginning astrologer. We have Pluto in Aquarius. We have Uranus in Gemini. That's a trine, air signs. Woo, good. Nice connection. In the middle of them, and I mean pretty much exactly in the middle, we got Neptune and Saturn in Aries. That's a fire sign, and it works well with air signs. In fact, you want to increase a fire, starts to go out, blow on it, or it billows, or whatever you want to do. More oxygen to the fire creates a bigger fire. Guess what's going on in the world today? Bigger fire. Gets complicated, though, because Neptune and Saturn don't like being in Aries. Have a tough time, especially Neptune. Neptune is fog. It has a hell of a time. And so there's this battle between energy. Saturn, which is trying to create structure, form, foundation, and fog that goes totally the opposite. And you see what's going on in the world, that same kind of essence. And now we have Jupiter moving into Cancer, which creates a tough aspect or relationship between Neptune and Saturn and Jupiter. And you're seeing over the past few weeks a lot more emotion with the Cancer stuff, a lot more emotion. People fired up. But it's going to get even more interesting. Middle of July, I think it's the 13th, retrograde season begins. The planets periodically will go what we astrologers call backwards or retrograde. They don't really. Their orbits are elliptical, and if you look from the Earth, it looks like they're kind of moving backwards, but it's an illusion. It's not true. But it's still significant. So the middle of July, Saturn, the great discipliner, starts retrograde. And then after that, the other planets I just mentioned are going to start to slowly go retrograde. With the retrograde action, be prepared. Because the curtain is going to be fully pulled back. And you may not like what you see or feel. Life can change dramatically, and you will have little or no control over it. But it's going to wake you up, which is what it's going to take. I talked with several people who do similar things to me and people who are not connected with metaphysical stuff at all. And everyone agrees that the only way that we're going to get off our ass collectively is if we get kicked in the ass. And that is coming. And we're going to have a peak, a preview, starting the middle of July as retrograde season for this year begins. It will be powerful, powerful juju. And I have a new section here I think I'm going to use every day a little bit just to kind of get you thinking outside the box. It's called Thinking Out Loud. And we begin this time with Sun Tzu, the famous Chinese warrior. He says, "An evil man will burn his own nation to the ground just to rule over the ashes." And that's really what we're seeing in society right now. The power structure is willing to tear it all down just so they can rule over the ashes. And you're really going to get a picture here coming up in the middle of July as Saturn begins the retrograde season. That's the astrology. You see why it's important. We're setting the understanding, we're setting the feeling, the foundation. Now we go to the tarot because we're getting to the nitty-gritty. Here's the tarot reading. We begin with the Emperor card. The Emperor is structure, regulations, maybe even father figure. It's what we're living under right now. It is run by the deep state. If you do any kind of digging into history, you know how filthy, how dirty, how rotten, how evil, how corrupt virtually every government on the planet is right now. They're all owned by the deep state. You can't depend on them for anything. So that means you have to start to assume the energy of Emperor in your own life. If you leave it up to them, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye. And you should have a pretty good idea of it now. Just wait. As retrograde season begins, you're going to really get a good dose of reality. And you ain't going to like it. Next card up, 6 Cups. 6 of Cups is nostalgia. It's your inner child. It's going back to better times, good times. Oh, man, remember? Wow. But it doesn't have to be just a time. It could be somebody from your past, something from your past you're emotionally connected to. And hopefully it's not an anchor. Hopefully it is something that makes you more secure, feel better, more optimistic, more in touch. And that will help you be the emperor of your own life. You have to take responsibility for your own life. We are at the point right now where every system is broken. You cannot depend on them. Don't pay attention to what they're saying. Pay attention to what they're doing. And what they're doing isn't pretty. So being nostalgic is not doing you any good. Except if it's a positive, strong feeling, bring it forward. Use that to become the emperor of your own life. The third card is Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is a pretty heavy-duty card. Talks about beginnings. You see here as they're going through the path that there is a path to better stuff. But there are little obstacles. First of all, the path is not straight. Secondly, you have a wall. Yes, there's a hole there, but it's a journey. You have to create your own value system. You have to go back to being the emperor. You have to be responsible for yourself. You can take the good stuff from your past and bring it forward. Use that to build a new value system. Because that's what it's all about. That's why this is called the final chapter. All indications are in the reading that this is really, really going to be where the shit hits the fan. Where you can no longer put your head in the sand and say, well, I don't care, it doesn't affect me. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect you. To what degree depends on a lot of things. How you handle it, well, that's a whole different story. It all depends what you are as the emperor, the person who sets standards in their own life. Leaning back on something positive from the past, some positive emotional connection, so that you can rebuild a new value system. It's all in your hands. It's all there for you. And you're starting to feel it because we're about 2 weeks away from when Saturn's going to go retrograde. But hang on, strap yourself in, mama. It's going to be a ride. That's the reading for today. We're all out of time. Thank you very much. As always, please like and subscribe. There is a hell of a very quiet behind-the-scenes battle on the internet for everybody who does podcasts these days. And you help. You are the kryptonite. Like and subscribe. Please, it's very important. We'll have more tarot plus coming up for you tomorrow. Hope you're here. If not, between now and the next time you and I get to manifest tarot, peace and blessings.